The two giants meeting here in the winner bracket final of the Huya Master Invitational 2. The winner will be in the grand final already and have second place guaranteed. This is still a best of 3, where our grand final will be a best of 5 later on. Waiting in the lower bracket like an alligator in the glades, waiting for the opponent to drop down his focus. And who's going to be meeting him there? We'll see. Lin against 120. We were hoping, we were expecting for them to meet up in the DreamHack regional finals, the grand final of Asia, but that did not happen. 120 was stopped by Fly. But, oh, oops. But he is now out of this tournament. We just saw that happening a moment ago in the match against Focus. But, yeah. Let's get into this. 120 against Lin. Best of 3. Off we go. And thank you, by the way, to Boost Tails with a 13-month resub. W Razor with 17 months. Freedom 15 with the 5 gifted subs. Hell yeah. And also Bidu. Ricky, thank you with a 3-month resub. Says, sup boys? What's up, brother? Hope you're having a good time. I imagine you just came back from work or something like that, probably. Sit back, kick your feet up, and get ready to enjoy some more Farseer Headhunters. What is this? Craziness. We saw it before by Focus, now again from Lin, the Farseer Headhunters in full force.
You know, I'm extra spoiled with this match. This is almost like a final, but we're privileged enough to see it in the coming up matches. Yeah, I think that 120 really loves his fast fiends on this map as well, so that'll be very interesting to see how he plays around the Headhunters, which you've seen Happy do when he had his show match against Grubby not too long ago, and it worked out very well for him with the time he's to hit with it.
Yeah, this is there's a bit of gambling going on with the opening builds. Farseer opening Harass against Fast DK, the so-called Ted Fiends, is pretty good, but Farseer Harass into Fast Fiend build is pretty awful. There's hardly anything you can do with that, so Lin won't be happy to see this build here. It's 120 really who won the mind game. 120 anticipated the build by Lin and went for a potentially suboptimal build himself, just trying to counteract this one we're seeing right here. So yeah, 120 wins out on the mind game. A bit of luck involved in that, but also a lot of skill, I guess.
Players' forces are under attack.
He's playing it really close with the acolytes here. Are you seeing this? Is this also making you nervous?
As an undead player, the whole time my heart boom, 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 boom.
But he's so good, dude. He knows, well, your Farseer is walking back, your wolves are running out, you're gonna resummon them to creep, so actually I can just creep myself, and my acolytes are safe if I just micro them a little bit. 120's level of play in this matchup is just unbelievable.
A player's forces are under attack.
At least the Farseer did get a bit of experience from the High Priest. He planted the first sentry ward already. I'm not sure if it was in range. But anyways, DK is just continuing to creep. 1 kill away now from the level up. 120 is also amazing at these last hits, by the way. I first saw that when he was playing the Crypt Lord fast expansion in DreamHack Fall, but he's so good at that. I love that guy. I think he's amazing. I think despite all of his accolades, he's still sort of underrated by many. I think it was a bit of a fluke, honestly, that he lost to Fly. That series in DreamHack, he really didn't play all that well compared to his usual level of play. But yeah, guys, 120 is a baller.
Big fan of 120 too, so we got 2 fanboys on deck. I think it's maybe the last sitting, because 120 was originally actually an Orc player for some time. I wonder if he got a lot of practice playing the Blade Master, because I've also noticed that even among like other top undead, no one really plays around that stuff better than 120 does.
Yeah, he also used to play Dota a little bit on the side for the last 2 years or so. Maybe that has helped him with it. But you know, if you're that talented as 120, I think whatever you try to pick up, you just easily master. What a life that must be, huh?
Yeah. It would be kind of cool to be good at video games, Remo.
At least at one of them, right?
Please, just one.
Not all of them, bro. Just one. Items here for 120, not the greatest. Double ring and mantle. Would have preferred some more damage, but you'll take what you can get, as the Farseer is also creeping heavily. Once you have a couple of headhunters on this here map, Last Refuge, you can creep very well. Lots of heavy armor creep to take out like these ogres here in the middle. So it's gonna be a quick level 3 for both players. Oh, can you see the last hit? Oh, that would have been sick, but no, it doesn't quite get it. Level 2 wolves, quite strong right now, but it's really... Oh, there flies the end snare. Can you maybe get that kill? No. But usually the level 3 Farseer early in the mid game is really strong against the Ted Fiend opening, because you only have 3 Fiends for a long time, and the DK is usually never level 3 himself. So that is normally where then the Farseer Headhunter opening can take a bit of a momentum lead in the mid game. But against this fast Fiend build, it doesn't exactly work out that way. And did you see that, Kaiser? 120 actually misclicked on the coil. He's mortal after all.
Perhaps there's a hope for us someday. And if it's hard to see with the camera move from the caster, but Lin is actually going straight tier 3 with a Tauren totem. Maybe a little bit of an adaptation against the fast fiends that he doesn't want to play into the strength of the undead with the stronger tier 2 map presence.
Yeah, hero choice here is interesting. Shadow Hunter over TC. So you have to play both of them at some point, otherwise you're just gonna get outscaled like crazy by the undead. But he wants to go Shadow first for easier map control with Hex, I suppose, and stronger healing later on. I kind of like that choice, I guess. TC level 1 is still valuable, whereas Shadow level 1 in the super late game pretty weak, I suppose. This could be an option for 120 here to go Cryptlord third, by the way.
Last Refuge and Twisted are really the only maps to see good, like very high level undead picking the Cryptlord third. It might be. I've been really trying to pinpoint what makes 1-0 go with Dark Ranger or Pit Lord third, and I'm curious what it'll go with here.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I've talked a lot with especially X-Lord about this issue, but X-Lord's view is pretty binary. He just says, well, Dark Ranger is complete trash, you should play Pit Lord every game. And then he still sometimes plays Dark Ranger. I think that Dark Ranger is always the most reliable and gives you more control over the fight. With Pit Lord, it's just number manipulation. And you don't have that crowd control aspect. But both are definitely powerful on level 1. Unlike the Crypt Lord, who is not very good on level 1, but very good on level 3, especially if you find mana boosting items. I certainly find myself making that decision sometimes depending on items. If I find 2 Penance of Energy, I'm like, alright, this is a Crypt Lord game. If I find if I find some bonus agi, it's definitely a Dark Ranger game. And if I find plenty of rings, maybe Pit Lord. But yeah, I don't know if these players also make the decision based on items. Probably not. But yeah, it should be time for a third
Dark Ranger. So it's a lot even against the Blade Master style, where he'll skill Dark Arrow first, creep a few camps, kind of get that wall of skeletons, which before dispels a battle for the Orc, actually provides really valuable blocking. But the level 1 skeletons for the Dark Ranger, not too great a damage, but can be annoying to get in position for a stop, especially if it's only going to be level 1, which we do see the TC coming out there.
Shadow level 4 already? That seems like a lot of creep priority on a hero who, well, especially that level 4, doesn't really do anything for him. Unless there's no destroyers. But 120 usually tends to want to throw in a couple of destroyers. Since there's no raiders, it might still be okay. I learned that over the last few years. Like, I always thought destroyers are always horrible against Orc. But honestly, if you have good destroyer control and you can always keep them at max range, they can still serve a pretty good purpose, even against Headhunter armies. It's really the Ensnare plus Headhunters which completely destroys destroyers. And that
A
ring
lot
is
of
plus 9 armor. Not bad. The TC.
the TC is going to be so hard to focus down.
Wand of the Wind also very good against the
Players'
DK.
forces are under attack.
We saw Ancient Django, by the way, picked up by 120 earlier. Lin at the red camp got the claws plus 12, which is not really very good, as all of his heroes don't really have the highest attack speed, and certainly don't have crit. DK level 4, I wonder what he went for. I would say that looks like Death Pact, but I'm not sure. Here comes the Wand of the Wind. First Stomp connects in the front line, only hit one of the Fiends though. And a Destroyer now getting morphed as well as a response to the Wand of the Wind. One Fiend lost, but the Dark Ranger gets level 2. And here we see the Destroyer spell coming in, trying to split against the TC, but that Stomp does connect fairly well. DK, you will notice, by 120 is always away from the TC, so he never gets stomped with the rest of the army, so you can always use those coils. And now we're gonna see 120's wonderful kiting. 120 always amazing at keeping max range as much as he can. TC in the middle of the entire army now, but may not have the actual mana for the stomp, has to wait a little bit longer. DK again with the coil, lots of mana still remaining on 120. I wonder if you found some mana items on this Death Knight. The Torrent gonna be taken out. Is there master training is the question. Lin will need it if he wants to revive that Torrent. Oh, but these walkers, man, when they're getting focused, they drop low really quick. And I don't know about you, but this just seems like Lin just doesn't have enough damage at all.
Incredible destroyer control, just like you mentioned. It has really good value against these Torn. Before, like, this style that Lin's playing performs really well when there's just like this huge critical mass, but with the timing 1-0 hit, just didn't have the time to get to it. Even with the high level Shadowhunter, doesn't look like he's gonna get too much value. Shadowhunter getting low, speed scroll pop.
I think you're
He's burrow
probably a little
timing.
bit ahead of me in this stream. TC gonna make it away here. Mana is running low everywhere. 120 has a couple of spells still left. Shadowhunter trying to run away here now. Lots of burrows coming in. Lin forgot about the dust. That is a mistake you can't afford to make usually on the top level, but it certainly has happened to me before. I can understand. Invoke Potion on the Torrent Chieftain. He survives. The real Torrent also still on the field, but if it's only 1 or 2 Torrent at a time, they can easily be getting focused. Nice Destroyer save there as well. DK very low mana now, but GG is called, and 120 takes the 1-0 lead. And that was a very solid performance. Gonna refresh the stream. Hopefully we'll more in sync then. Farsi Highlanders, you know, I'm still caught between two opinions here. Sometimes I feel like, well, the strat is bad. It's just a gimmick, and it never works out against really good players. At other times, though, it looks really good. And it seems like it can be played if you perform well with it. Like, for example, we saw in DreamHack, it worked time and time again. But then a game like this one comes around and just seems like, if the opponent just properly counterplays, it just looks so much worse than Blade Master.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. The Blade Master just has like the infinite scaling sort of deal where the later a game goes, it goes better for the Orc, but with proper control, it's pretty hard to get value out of the Torn and whatnot.
Yeah. We saw the issue here with the levels. Like, the Farseer didn't really do much. It's just not a very good late game hero. Shadow level 3 is good, but Shadow level 4 is like, whatever. Shadow 5 is nice, but where's the damage? Where was the damage? TC didn't get 3. And 120. Honestly, that almost looked like a simple game by him. The Undead takes the 1-0 lead, 1 map away from the grand final. Our second map will be Last Refuge. Very understandable. I think that is a very good map for Orc in this matchup. Almost as good as Twisted Meadows is. That, by the way, is not in the pool here. So I'm pretty surprised 120 didn't veto Turtle Rock with him having 2 vetoes. What does that mean? I guess he vetoed CH. I think that's usually his veto, which I don't really agree with. And
It's interesting to me, these more older school players like 1-0, they love vetoing CH against Orc. I think that sometimes the fountain buff or benefit may be a little bit overstated with Orc.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think it's way more important for Orc to be able to ensure a good creep route and strong late game heroes. And on Concealed, you can slow down the Blade Master and the Shadow really, really well. So yeah, I also think people overestimate that fountain impact too much. But, you know, we're speaking about Blade Master and stuff, but here it's Farseer Headhunters again. Dude, all 5 maps so far today, we have seen Farseer Headhunters every single time. They're just trolling all over the place.
Where should we want to go?
I hope Lin goes for a TC second this time. You know, I gave him the benefit of the doubt on the last refuge. Like, yeah, maybe you want to get heal wave. Yeah, you know, maybe. But if you're going into a creeping game, just go TC second, man. That hero scales amazingly. Level 2 Stomp, level 2 Aura, you know? Bada bing, bada bam.
Imagine if he had the level 2 stomp that last fight instead of heal wave. I think it would have been a lot different.
I think so too. Farseer again starting off with the harass. This time Lin has the better opening matchup. Now with the Farseer you can harass way better than he could against the Fast Fiend build. 1-0 didn't want to go into Fast Fiends because if you end up playing Fast Fiends against Blade Master first, that's going to be really bad. That is going to be very, very bad. Blade Master's going to have 2 claws and the middle Watcher Ward before you can do anything about it, so not something you want to try. Did 1-0, by the way, refuse to make a Scout Acolyte, the madman?
He didn't use a Scout Acolyte. He opened past DK and actually used a Ghoul to help him creep there. I think it was... it slows down his tech, but of course you take a lot less damage on the DK when you clear out the camp in a reasonable amount of time. Turtle Rock, of course, unique for its no critters.
Yes, indeed. The one map that still doesn't have them. Shows you how freaking old this map is.
At least it isn't Echo, right, Remo?
Well, it's not much better. So here come the Headhunters, and yeah, this is usually the way this is supposed to work, this Farseer Headhunter build. The DK only creeps very little, you slow him down, you're around, and then suddenly you get 4 or 5 Headhunters, and you can work with a bit of map control usually. So here it's interesting how the creep game flips around. Who's going to be creeping more, who's going to be harassing. Usually it's in the undead's best interest to be the one to harass them in this kind of early game with this kind of opening, because the Orc, if left alone, can creep much faster with the wolves and high number of Headhunters.
Excellent Acolyte micro. This is so stressful to just maintain vision of the camp.
This is still stressing me out. Nerob's about to finish. Okay, the DK does have to come home at some point. And Coil! Oh, Jesus Christ. But Lin is also doing it well. He's keeping attention there. He's forcing the DK into the main, and now he's creeping away the undead camp, possibly stealing the claws. But again, he gets the ring. Oh, and 1-0, interesting. He's not going to contest anymore. He's willing to give up the shot between the 2 bases. He's just interested in creeping himself, and it's a classic Turtle Rock move. If it's nighttime and you just want to be left alone, just run through the middle, across to the other green camps there, because that's the least likely to get scouted. Nice movement. And Lin, interestingly, he is trying to follow. He's trying to chase. He's not interested in getting level 3 himself. Oh, and 1-0 got Dark Ranger on the way. That's pretty cool.
So might be seeing a much longer tier 2 than I'd expect from 1-0. Be more aggressive, more fiends, more statues. Similar to the 39 food tech against human.
Oh,
especially this might be a counterplay to the Shadowhunter for second. He saw the last game. Maybe he wasn't expecting that, but it looks like he's got a good read this game.
I think it has mostly to do with creep timing. You can just creep so much faster here with the Dark Ranger, with which you have to wait way longer, and of course you don't get skeletons. So I think it mostly has to do just with creep ability. 1-0 stole the last hit here. He got +9 intelligence already for the Lich later. And he's got the slippers for the Dark Ranger. Some really good items for 1-0. Where Lin gets the next ring of protection. He's at +7 now.
One more and he could be an elf lord.
Forces are under attack.
Oh wow, that took me a second. 6 to the Dwarf Lords in the House of Stone. That's not the exact quote, but it's something like that. Sells the Parry-Apt, buys the Circlet. Decent deal if you ask me. Serpent Wards! What? Cost +12 again. So, Serpent Ward's good for creeping, but very hard to get much use out of against a Fiend army.
A player's
Because
forces
that
are
one
under
will
attack.
A, not be taking much damage from them, and B, mostly be kiting away. 1-0 is going on a mad item hunt here. Moving from camp to camp, sniping these items. You got a ring here. Which you might be selling again. Cloak. Alright. Pretty fair item drops now. Nobody's getting the absolute nuts.
A player's
The
forces
Farseer.
are under
Oh, he wasn't looking for a second, and boom, he's surrounded. He's got one Chain Lightning. Oh, but he holds the surround. Kaiser, did you see that? Did
That
you
was
see
sick.
that, my boy?
So many small controlled movements there. And he just got the most value out of it too. Encourage him to use the Chain Lightning just to reseal it again. Such a tease. 1-0, man.
That was pretty dope. Also, like, mentally, if you see that, and you're like, oh, God damn it. He's a strong player.
a player's forces.
Alright, there's a
are
timing
under
here
attack.
now, though, for Lin. He's got the level 3 heroes. The Lich isn't yet with the Undead Army. He can do something right here. But he doesn't have Hex. He certainly shouldn't have Hex. Shadowhunter trying to steal the item. Last hit goes to the Undead. Level 3 for the DK with that. Oh, but the Shadow did steal the item. Did get the Wand of Mana Steal. But all Fiends survive. And I think that was still a good trade for 1-0. He knows he's most likely going to be scaling better with the Lich coming out. Lin gets 2 red camps, though. That's a big deal. If he gets Khadga's Pipe here, anything's possible.
A little bit of a lesson for fellow undead players out there. When you're fighting right before your spike, don't do it. Go home. Get that orb and dominate.
Ancient Django. You see? You see Kaiser keeps on happening. The orcs always find the auras they already have. I'm telling you.
A player's forces are under attack.
Ideally, 1-0 would like to have level 2 Lich for the first fight. Nova plus Frost Armor, just insanely powerful. Even against an army with hardly any melee, Frost Armor is still good.
Here we go. We're gonna see a repeat of the last game, or will the turns table for Lin? There's a very strong spike for 1-0. See how if he capitalizes on it. Dropping the other 0, getting ready to go over the 50 or 60.
A player's forces
The
are
TC
under
could
attack.
still level up to 3, but it would take a long time. With the green, orange, and red, could maybe do it, although at the red the item's gone already. Lich now level 2, plus 19 damage. And we have plenty of level 2 skeletons there as well. Level 2 skeletons is very strong. TC running in, he's protected with a Spirit Link. Dispels his own Spirit Link. TC could be falling right here. Oh, but he had the potion. 1-0 didn't consider that potion, kind of wasted one nuke right there. But he's got plenty of mana still left. And again, the problem with the with this orc army, no Ensnare for chasing, so it's really hard to run down any kills, and also not a very good Orb of Lightning carrier. Juicy Dispels. Wonderful control on the Destroyer always, never exposing him to the piercing damage, but always getting the Dispel in against the Spirit Link. And when you only have 2 walkers, it's not infinite Spirit Link. Lin would just like to take this fight, win this fight, and then expand with that one battle. Of lightning, we see some of it proccing now. TC in trouble again. 1-0 wants to take out the hero, not because he's such a big threat, but because he doesn't want to allow him to get level ups, which is also smart. Pretty even trades here so far. A bit of headhunters against a bit of fiends. 1-0 always staying at max range. Always staying at max range. This is what he does better than anybody else. And pulling the fiends back perfectly in time always. Oh, there was a whiffed stomp. Didn't hit anything. Lin did a really good job, though, keeping his TC alive as best as he could. Oh, that fiend barely dies. A little bit too late with the coil right there. Lin with 1,000 gold, by the way. Could potentially easily afford a tiny Great Hall. There's a lot of kiting back and forth. 1-0 is already expanding bottom left behind all of this. And that is behind the opponent's Watcher Ward, by the way. So Lin may not be thinking of this possibility for a long time.
I think one thing that is absolutely sick and may not be appreciated too much is how fast he dispels these links before he nukes and how quick Lin is to reapply it. That TC would have died at that last fight fairly quickly, but just as fast as 1-0 dispels, Lin's on top of it with the reapplication.
Yeah. True. He's absolutely been doing that very well. It's going to be very hard to keep that up once there's more destroyers. Destroyers can dispel for free, but it's got a 7-second cooldown, so there's always a big window to reapply the link, unless there's like 3 destroyers in the air. Then it's going to be a lot harder as we're moving to 2-base, 2-base. I also love this by 1-0. He knew if the fight doesn't go very well for him, it's a very real possibility that Lin is going to be expanding. So what did he do? He proactively expanded before the orc. And now he's got the expansion in the bottom left, where the blight is not revealing the fact that there is an expansion there yet. Should be also Lich getting level 3 here at this camp, or at least get very close. And more skeletons for the Dark Ranger. 1-0 at 60 supply. A little bit weird with the rally points right now. He forgot about the rally point, lost one fiend for free in the middle. It's a little painful.
Speed scroll, looking to get in a good position here. Realize he might not get it back off.
Yeah, that narrow position right there, that's like Thermopylae. That's not what Lin wants, because he's sort of the Persians, I suppose.
We will hold them at the hot gates, Remo.
With the help of Greece herself. Dude, I've seen that movie so many times. Do you know that feeling when you've watched a movie so many times, at some point, you lose your love for it because you see all the weird little mistakes that they did? That has only been the case with me with 3 movies. Like 300 sort of, also Lord of the Rings and Garden State. The Wolves now find the expansion, the TC finds the perfect stomp, but it's only level 1, it doesn't last that long. We have 3 Taurens now, and I can only imagine there must be master training at this point. So, hard to find the right targets to attack. 1-0 ideally wants to take out Berserkers, Walkers, or Heroes, definitely not the Tauren. That will probably be a big waste of damage. 1-0 falling back to the main. Frost Armor protecting his units, Lin hoping for the proc. Oh, look at that speed scroll. Instantly dispelled. The Lich in trouble, though, and there's no coil. Ooh. There was no invul for the Lich, I believe. And that's a big loss for 1-0, and that might be him losing the game. Another Fiend goes down there as well. Almost a second. And that Lich dying. Absolutely painful. Lin now up at 69 supply. And the expansion has been completely wiped out by the Wolves.
Level 2 Wolves, pretty good. And poor Lichy Poo, back at the altar. He's getting benched for this season of Warcraft 3, but he's bought back at the tavern. We have plenty of mana for coils this time around. Oh, he even had the greater heal on him last time.
Oh, he had the heal potion before, didn't use it in time. That's a very painful mistake. TC now, Cloak of Shadows in the middle of everything. That's a cool little play here by Lin, showing off towards the end of this game, but this one must be going in the Orcs' favor. And 1-0, I told you. You should have vetoed Turtle Rock.
Really nice thing with the Dark Ranger, of course, too. It takes away the Master Training revive.
Oh, wait a minute. true, because they don't bring corpses. Oh my god, Kaiser, you're so smart. Dark Ranger just straight up counters Ancestral Spirit.
A player's forces are under attack.
The TC gets higher and higher levels, it gets harder and harder. You see those pulverized procs too, and the fiends are all clumped up? Just 2 of them. It makes you almost want to use the heal scroll alone.
Yeah, Torrent Tech takes forever, very expensive, but once you get there, definitely very strong. This Lich, by the way, plus 28. Speaking of very strong. 1-0 could still win this game. If he gets 5-5-4 hero levels, he can absolutely outscale these Orc heroes. He's still a little ways off from that, though. Oh, that's Boots of Quel'Thalas. He gave it to the Dark Ranger. That must be Boots of Quel'Thalas. Let's go.
Your dream come true, Remo.
A town is under siege.
She's plus 9 at Agi now. Poggies. Oh, Lyn committing in pretty deep over here. He's got a huge army though. 20 supply lead for the Orc. Oh, and an Orb of Lightning proc on the statue. We know that feeling.
You hear it in my nightmares.
Very hard for 1-0 to micro this properly. 1 Tauren goes down, and there's no corpse because it was turned into a skeleton. Oh, the DK now caught on the wrong side of the tracks, but he gets out. Another Tauren went down, also didn't drop a corpse. 1-0, might be doing it. Oh, that stomp though. And the DK in a dangerous position. Last second heal wave, that Tauren survives. TP out by Lyn. 1 more Walker going down, and a Tauren! And he can't revive because he's away from the corpse. That was a horrible trade for Lyn. That was absolutely disastrous. And he didn't kill the expansion yet. Oh my god, Lyn. Is he throwing that game?
I think he
What's
is.
there's got the supply lead now?
I don't think you call it a trade. All the Tauren just died. Their ancestors not watching over them at all. The only thing they're watching is their poor descendants. Hoof to the head.
A town is under siege.
Oh my god. Lyn, what a throw. It's not over yet, but it's looking a little rough. Love that burrow there, by the way. Pretty cool. And yeah, these undead heroes, man, they scale like crazy. As I said, if they reach 5-5-4, all bets are off. The wolves did take out the expansion, by the way. And the mains are about to run dry here very soon. Score the Beast used. TC again with a big stomp. He's got another one of those at the ready. DK getting purged. Orb of Lightning. Heal potion transferred. Not using it yet. 1-0 kiting back further. He's got a big ranged army here. I wonder what the upgrades are. I don't think he's got that many attack upgrades, but maybe something. Oh, and that Tauren finally was revived. The first Ancestral Spirit of this game. 1-0 needs to make sure he kills off these Taurens with the Black Arrow. DK was baiting some damage onto him, uses the heal potion. And Lyn is about to lose a lot of army right here. 1 Tauren going down. 2nd Tauren going down. It's a lot of experience, by the way, for the undead side. But still a big army remaining for the Orc player. 2 statues completely dry. 1-0, perhaps he should morph them. Level 5 on the Shadow Hunter, by the way, but he's out of mana now. Another Tauren dies. Again, no corpse. This is a sick game over here, boys. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am, because I certainly am. There's a dust, though, and more fiends are going down. 2 fiends dying there really quickly. Lich level 4. He can now eat the skeletons for mana, which is a big deal. 1-0 chasing. Wants to get more kills. Taking out the TC with the Colonova. That's level 5 Dark Ranger. And the DK very close to 5 now himself. Oh my god, 1-0 might be doing it. He has started the expansion up in the middle. And that's DK5. Yep, that's it, boys. 5-5-4. 5-5-4. That's it. Dude, the Lich can eat these skeletons now for like 200 mana or something. Well, that's not exactly true, but it's a good amount. Look at those Novas. Look at those skeletons.
Those skeletons. They're like little grunts.
3 destroyers now up in the air. 3 fiends. Still a statue. And Lyn has been outscaled. Lin only has one really good late game hero here with the TC. Oh, the shutdown was pretty good as well, but the Farseer hasn't been doing much for a long time. But he's got some more army still coming in. And the Torrents, they just get turned into skeletons. Only a single Ancestral Spirit has been seen in this game.
Ancestors not watching over them. Not one bit.
Oh my lordy. Oh my lordy. What a turnaround by 120.
This plus 28 Lich is so sick in the Farseer. Getting low and a GG called by Lin. 2-0 by 1-0.
2-0, 120. Hot damn. Sick game by 120. First game he just out-mind gamed Lin, and the second game he outplayed Lin. But oh boy, was that a throw by Lin. He had 80 supply, a 20 supply lead, and then he dives into the undead main. Massive mistake by Lin. And that lands him down in the lower bracket now.